Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I'm going to be showing you how I set up my seamless grid on Instagram. So I wanted to start off by showing you the original grid that I have set up. It is essentially squares that I have set up. You will see that I have 12 squares. Let me actually turn off this selection. You'll see there are 12 squares. And for me, how I am able to do my seamless grid on Instagram is to be able to use each of these squares to pre-place all of the images that I need for Instagram. Well, with Instagram moving to a new ratio, I decided that this would be a good time to update my Instagram grid, of course, but then also to be able to show you what I do. So we're going to start here with opening up a new um, a new grid. And so one of the things that I will have to do is do some math. So in terms of width, I do like to have four spots, and we'll talk about why that is in a minute. But the width is going to be 1080. I'm going to go ahead and make it the official Instagram size. Previously, I was doing 1000, and it's a little bit smaller than the Instagram pictures, and so there was a little bit of pixelation for my images, but I am going to move it to the correct width, so it's going to be 1080 times 4, which is going to be 4320. And then for height, I do need three boxes, and I looked up what the new ratio for Instagram is. It's a 4 by 5 aspect ratio, which is 1080 by 1350. And so I'm going to take 1350 times it by 3, and I end up with 4050. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set my new dimensions here. I'm going to open that up. And what I'll do is take this image and I was trying to delete it, but that might not work. So we're gonna work here. What I need to do is go ahead and set, first of all, my guidelines. And so in order to get my grid, I don't recall how I did this. So apologies if I'm fumbling around a little bit, but I ended up setting grid lines. So let me see how I did that. I'm going to go ahead and show my grid and show my guides. And then I need to be able to create new guidelines. So I'm going to go to image. I'm going to say slice using guides. Oh, sorry. My guides are a little bit different. I'm going to right here configure the grid. Let's go here and see if this works. All right, so the line, foreground, background, all that looks correct. Let me go back to image and I'll do my guides. Okay, so I want new guides. We'll do it right here. And in fact, what I'll do is go to image, go to guides, and I'll set the guides by percentage. So I want, in terms of horizontal, actually, let me do it by, sorry. I'm going to go and just set it in new guides. Okay, so the guides create these lines. So the first lines I'll set will be the horizontal lines, and I do need 2 lines in order to split it into threes. And I'll set the position here at 1350. The first one, all right, and then the next one, going back to image, guides, new guide, I'll need to do 1350 plus 1350, which is 2700. Oops, 2700. Set that one, all right, and now I've created my 3 boxes horizontally. So now I'll go back, go to guides again, create another new guide, right, and then this one, oops, I'm sorry. Well, first I need to set it to vertical, right? The first one would be at 1080. Okay, and then 1080 plus another 1080 will be 2160. Add this guide, 2160. Okay, and then add another 1050. Sorry, 1080 to that, and I'll be at 3240. Okay, and so now I've created my 12 boxes. Now, why do I create 12 boxes? This right here, these 9 are essentially the 9 boxes that I will use for the actual grid. What ends up happening is I start right here at the bottom right, I create the image, put in the photos, the different flat lay pieces that I want into these boxes. The lines show me where it will be cut in the Instagram photo. And so I will actually slice it using these grid lines. And so it will be to the correct ratio, aspect ratio for the new Instagram. And each of these little boxes will be a new image. Now, when I cross over these lines, that means that this will be like, let's just go into an example. I'm pulling images from Google just to show you what this looks like. So let me just look up, let's do a flat lay of a plant. Okay, and I'm just finding a random image here just to show you what this looks like. Okay, so I found this random image on Google. I'm going to copy it over, right? So you can see what this looks like. I will make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going up here to this layer. So you'll see over here that it's now two layers, the background layer as well as the second layer. So if I go up here, I just have to make sure that it's the correct layer that's selected. And then I just make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to make the width about 4,000. That should be good enough, right? You'll see that there's some crediting stuff, right? But I am going to just stick this image kind of right here. Now, when I go in and slice it, you'll see that, of course, let's just say this example, this pot that's pink, this will be split across two images. This will also be split across two images. And these blue lines, these guidelines, show where each Instagram photo is. Now, for me, in order to create the seamless grid, this is always overflow. So what I will do is once I slice it, all the extra pieces of a photo or whatever the flat lay is, those get moved up here. So in order to make it a seamless grid, I have to move those pieces up here so that way it just kind of carries over. And it makes more sense when you see how the photos kind of like get added to my grid, but that's just how I do it, right? So any leftover, any pieces that go into this box, this is my overflow box, those pieces go into this one, right? So I'm going to go here to image. Now that we've set these guidelines, I'm just going to hit slice using the guides, right? And then you'll see all of these images. So again, this is the first image, right? This is the one that was in the very bottom right corner. You can see that you have half of the pink pot and half of this white pot. I'll go back down here to the original image, and that's, again, this box right here. So you see half of the pink, half of the white, all right? And so, again, that's what it looks like, right? If you move to the very next photo, this would be the photo that I posted next. Here is the remainder of the pink pot, right? And again, you can see that kind of right here. Now, again, as I've already mentioned, anything that's here in overflow, this is square number 4, or like box number 4. That would be this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that would be this box. What I do is take that number 4, I just drag it over here. Oops, let me undo what I just did there. I need this box that I just dropped, so making sure that I get the correct, these are all kind of locked. I'm not quite sure why it's locked, but I'm not quite sure why it's locked. I need to unlock this one. I'll add it to a new layer. I'll move it down. Okay, so now here is this box, right? And I can move it. I've selected it on this side. And so I just move it. And again, any pieces that are in here, I want to make sure it's here. Now, one of the things that I do have problems with is sometimes, like if you see here, I've cut off this pot, and I definitely want to keep that, right? And let's just assume, actually, let me give you an example. I'll find just a small example here. Do a pair of maybe scissors. Right, here's a pair of scissors. Again, it's very small, so that layer I'm just gonna make big just for the purposes of this video. I'll resize it to this, right? So you can see here, it's quite big, right? So let's just say I want to put it here, right? And again, if I go back to image, I slice it all again, I will now see that in the third box, there is part of the scissors, and here is the other part, right? So what I want to be able to do is take essentially this part of it and add it to this photo in order to make it a seamless grid, all right? So what I would then do then is go to box number 4, drag it over, and move it over here. Now, I don't want to box or like lose the plant. So what I would have to do is go in here and just do a little bit of cropping, right? And I just use this little rope thing. I will crop it. I do normally just hit cut. So go here, cut, right? And you can see it cut that image out. Then I will go back in and paste as a new layer, right? Then what I can do is go here to the original box, which is called drop buffer, and I'll delete that layer. And now you can see the scissors are here. Now, of course, it's much cleaner when I do it for Instagram, but you can see it now becomes a seamless grid because the pot is here, as well as the piece that goes from box number 3 into box number 4. So it goes together, right? So hopefully that makes sense. This is a very quick tutorial, and of course, it's a lot of moving pieces in terms of going back and forth and where things belong. But the program that I use is GIMP, GIMP. It's a free download, and I think it's very powerful and fun to use as a tool for doing my seamless grid. And I'm glad that I'm able to show you how to do the seamless grid and also update my own Instagram feed for the new 4:5 aspect ratio. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this tutorial for how I design my seamless grid on Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do feel free to leave me any comments or questions that you might have about it. I understand that, it's kind of tech heavy, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And again, leave me any comments or questions that you might have. And that's all. Until the next video, you guys, enjoy. Bye.